5 years ago, I spent a whole week building an elaborate contraption just so my wife can let me know when lunch is ready.
David's team.
What is this contraption?
A telephone.
It's a contraption that goes from the house to the bottom of the garden where I spend most of the morning.
But why?
Why?
Because I've got a little shed down there where I write.
Describe this contraption to us.
OK, well, it's long. I've got a very long garden. And it's on a slight incline. It's made out of tubes, and my wife operates one end. I receive...
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I receive something that comes out the other end of the tube. So it's a very long tube, and she puts a little ball in one end. And the ball plops out the other end. And that's when lunch is ready.
You sound like somebody who is teaching sex education but hasn't got a clue yourself. Well, there's a ball at one end and ball comes out the other end and that's when lunch is ready.
What makes it elaborate? Is it the length of it?
Yes.
How long is it?
Long. 60 metres.
60-metre long garden?
I mean, you're doing well, but not that
doing
well.
all right.
How wide is your garden? Is it 1 metre?
That would be great, wouldn't it?
And 8 metres wide.
Why doesn't she just phone you or text you or WhatsApp you?
Because, Rob, there's no phone reception at the bottom of the garden.
You said your garden's on an incline, so if she's putting a ball in one end, how's that travelling up?
Well, it's an incline.
Well, the incline
from my end
is at the house,
Yeah,
and the bottom part is... It really is quite simple,
No, but
you know.
that's a decline.
No,
from my
decline
end, it's
is
an
what
incline.
you would do if David was to suggest something a bit fruity. That is a decline. What happens when it reaches the shed?
It plops
Oh, yes.
into the lid of a metal bin.
OK.
Oh.
So once it's installed, that's it. You can forget about it.
I should say the pipe's off the ground.
Oh, all right.
How did you suspend it off the ground?
In a hedge.
The pipe's very important as well, because we had a similar system at my house where we didn't use the pipe. My wife was at the bottom in the shed working, and I used to just roll the golf ball down, and there'd been a heavy snowfall, and it gathered momentum, and it pushed it to death.
Yeah, that's
Awful. The whole thing was flattened, and that's sadly how my wife died. So it's very important to keep it in case.
All right, well, look, what are you thinking? It does sound to me a little fantastical.
It's peak boredom, isn't it? And some people get bored.
I think the show's going fine.
I think it's true.
I think it's true as well.
I'm going to say it's true.
OK, so, Alex, truth or lie?
60 metres. True!
It's true. Alex has built a contraption just so his wife can tell him when lunch is ready, and we've got a clip of it.
Yes!
Oh, my God.
Wow!
Wow.
I love it! I love
It was just like you described it.
It once took me 5.5 hours to cook macaroni cheese.
Please, Steve.
Is it homemade macaroni, as in you made the pasta?
No. It was dried macaroni.
How long does it take to boil macaroni? 10
It's
minutes?
not just
10,
boil
12.
it. There's more to it. There's more to it than that.
There's a lot to making macaroni cheese.
There's
It's
more-
not just boil. You have to, you know, make like a roux, which is like a
Cheese
white
sauce.
but you know, be careful because it goes lumpy and
5.5 hours long.
You may be helping him out here, Joe.
Oh,
if
sorry.
indeed this is like... How do you make macaroni cheese,
You make
Joe?
a roux and
What's
it
a
can
roux?
go
Tell us
lumpy and
How would you make a roux? And don't say you had it off with a kangaroo.
we could have a little Joey, couldn't we?
That's good. Oh, that's very good.
Don't need your pity. I do a bit, but well, I was following a recipe, so I remember it had 4 different types of cheese in it. But it got
Do you
held
remember
up.
the types of cheese?
Mozzarella... not really.
All right, let me rephrase the question. Could you name any cheeses?
Was there a specific occasion? Was this for someone's birthday party or your birthday or...
We were on holiday.
Who's we?
It is my family and another family.
And is it
And
your
I said-
job to cook for everybody?
Not after that, no. The whole thing got held up because somebody stole some of the cheese.
Who took your cheese?
Well, I can't remember who it was, but I do remember that actually at that stage I said I'm not doing the meal at all anymore. So...
Where were you, Joe? Where did this happen?
Cornwall.
So somebody came and took one of the cheeses and you needed 4 cheeses.
I had 4 and I had it all laid out because I like to get everything kind of meticulously ready. So sort of 2 hours in, all I'd really done was get all the ingredients into... I think I've seen too many cooking shows, so I like to have all the ingredients in all the special pots.
All pre-weighed on a saucer and all that.
pre-weighed, yes.
But is anything being cooked at this point? Is the macaroni on?
No, nothing, no.
You haven't cooked anything. All you've done is lay out the ingredients.
Also, there was another delay, which was that I had to move the car. So...
Was it in the kitchen?
No, it was parked. It was blocking one of the neighbours'
Arteries.
drives or something. So I had to go and move the car, and then I couldn't find anywhere else to park because it was these like really, really narrow lanes. So I was just getting further and further and further away from where my family were.
Why couldn't someone else park it for you?
Because of insurance and, you know...
Yeah,
Well,
but
you
no one
drove
would have
into
seen you.
a
You're in the middle of
anyway.
nowhere.
They wouldn't have seen it, but, you know, you can't muck around.
Joe, what are you thinking?
I think it could be true.
Really?
So I read something the other day, and this woman was complaining about her son. She said she asked him to empty the dishwasher, which is the one thing she asks him to do every day. And she timed him, and it took 4.5 hours. And that was because he was just kind of teenager-ish. At one point, apparently, he said, "I've just got to go and have a rest." So I think it's possible.
Joe strikes me as a man that's not in a rush. I would like to be with him in a fire. Bobby?
So let's lean towards true.
OK, well, say true.
You're going to say it's true? OK.
Yes.
Joe, was that the truth or was it a lie?
But it's true.
It's true. Joe did spend 5.5 hours making macaroni cheese.
At school, because of something I once had in my lunchbox, I was given a 7-syllable nickname.
Please, team.
You strike me as the kind of kid that you would have had a 1-syllable nickname. All right, what was in the lunchbox?
A sandwich, a snack.
What was the
and,
snack?
Well, rarely we
Yeah?
find 6 of our 7 syllables.
Oh, brilliant. What's your 6-syllable snack?
You can think of a 6-syllable snack, surely.
I can, yes.
The big one, the big one.
The big one. Away you go.
The big packed lunch, 6-syllable snack.
I've thought of a 10-syllable one.
Right.
A salt and vinegar packet of crisps.
Well done. You're so pleased, aren't you?
That's more than you need, though.
I missed it. What was the snack?
So I'll give you the first syllable.
Mine are all too long. A packet and a half of cashew nuts. 1 out of 10. Ridiculous.
I'll give you the first syllable if you want it.
Please do.
Dare.
Oh, it's Dairy Lee.
Triangles.
Nearly.
Dairy Lee. Go on, then. You can do the next 3.
Lunchable.
Dairy Lee Lunchable?
You remember Dairy Lee Lunchables?
I do, but I think they're after your time, no offence.
I am, how dare you, I'm 27.
Yeah, we're not talking about feet, we're talking about years.
So just be clear, the actual nickname was...
Dairy Lee Lunchable Boy.
How long did the nickname stick?
Oh, I would say, I mean, it was a good 2 weeks.
Did you have a nickname before that?
I was always called Rich. That's so bad, isn't it?
And what about after that?
Oh, then it was the artist formerly known as Dairy Lee Lunchable Boy.
Were you the tallest kid in the year?
Yeah.
And they didn't think there was a tall nickname that would be more relevant for you?
When it comes to those nicknames, the decision-making process is very disordered.
Yeah.
There's no meeting where someone gets to go, this is ridiculous. This child is extremely tall, and yet we're focusing on a snack.
I'm thinking that, say you're on the playing field, you're playing football, it's a long nickname to say pass the ball, isn't it?
Don't really lunchable boy.
That was not my nickname on the football pitch.
What was
that? What was that?
Sub.
All right, what do you reckon? Alice, is he telling the truth?
No nicknames only last 2 weeks. That's what's so
Yeah.
devastating about a school nickname, isn't it? They really linger.
Did you have one, Alice?
I actually did have one. Envelope bum.
We don't want to know how that came about. What are you thinking, Les?
Well, I think Richard is so good at wordplay and using syllables. It sounds like the kind of nickname he has given himself.
Lee, what are you going to say?
The tallest kid in the school has never had a nickname, because I did say before and after, but no, nothing to do with my height.
People quite liked me, Lee.
It's a lie.
No, that's a lie.
Richard, they're saying that it's a lie. Were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Richard wasn't given a 7-syllable nickname at school because of something he had in his lunchbox.
OK, well, I'm still blind. Neither of my PPIs work. David, would you save us all a lot of time and read my card out for me, please?
Gladly. During lockdown, I bought a pogo stick to use as a home school teaching aid.
Right, Lee's team.
OK, so, Chris, have you got children?
Just the one.
And this was for, what, your homeschooling PE or something?
Yes. When we did homeschooling, we split up the tasks. I was in charge of PE and maths, and my wife was in charge of reading and art for obvious reasons.
And what age is your child?
During lockdown, she was 6.
And do you do anything else for PE or just pogo stick?
I'm quite a lazy guy, Lee. So I realised that when you're on a pogo stick and you're bouncing away, what you're trying to do is see how many you can do.
How many repetitions without touching the ground?
Yeah, and maths
You have
is
to
also...
touch the ground, Lee, to be fair. Otherwise it's levitating, which we still haven't mastered.
I appreciate you said it for comic effect, Rob, but you know exactly what I meant.
Well, what I tried to do is I realised that how many is also what you do often in maths. And I could consolidate all of my teaching efforts into one tidy little package of minimal effort. So I invented pogo maths.
OK.
And you just shout out some sums and they have to bounce out the answers.
But are they experienced in pogo sticking? Because it's quite hard.
Well, I mean, it does help if you can use a pogo stick first, so you have to get over that hurdle, but that's, you know...
You have to get over a hurdle as well.
I appreciate you said that for comic effect.
Thank you, Rob.
We have a pogo stick.
Yeah, well, it's Chris's card. Make him do it.
I don't think the BBC's got enough money to cover the insurance on this.
Don't worry, I've got this covered, Chris. Like the card, let David do it for you.
There is a pogo stick behind you, I believe.
Oh, my gosh.
There it is. Don't do it there, and make sure you're 2 metres away from me.
Right.
Down you go. Now, Chris.
Hang on, let me have a practice go first.
He's not doing
This
it,
is going
Chris.
really well, Chris. Dead easy.
Are you ready?
Yes.
What is 8 minus 5?
OK. The problem I've got now is if I bounce and fall off after, say, 2, you don't know if I'm bad at pogo or bad at maths. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Well, this is good because you've got to get them all right if you want to do dinner tonight. I've got one.
Shall I just see how many I can do?
Yeah, let's see how many you can do.
I'll try and jump up onto that. How about that? Don't do it, Lee, don't do it!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I've got no idea what's going on.
So, having experienced it...
Yes.
Do you think he's telling the truth?
What do we think?
I didn't know they still did pogo sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Imagine how hard you could hit the ball with a spring-mounted snooker cue. I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking about this story?
The more I think about it, the more I think it wouldn't work because the white ball's going to spin back.
No. We're talking now about the maths and the pogo.
Do you reckon it's true?
I think it's true that Chris is lazy.
I'm not really blind, it just gets me out of doing things.
Listen, tell me about it, mate. I do it all the time myself. How do you think I park so close to Sainsbury's?
I think he's lying.
You think he's lying?
I think he's lying as well.
You think he's
yeah.
lying? We'll go with my team and say he's lying.
OK, saying it's a lie. So, Chris, maths on the pogo stick. Was it true or was it a lie?
Pogo maths, copyright, Chris McCausland, 2020. True.
Oh!
Yes, it's true. Chris did use a pogo stick to teach his daughter maths. David.
To keep things exciting at home, every time I fill our tin with normal tea bags, I slip in one Earl Grey, knowing it could surprise me at any time.
Please, Steve.
Oh, it's for your own interest, not for the surprise of your wife.
Well, it could. I mean, she could be surprised by it also.
Do you put a normal tea bag in with the Earl Grey and let it brew, or is it in the...
No, it's in the tin of tea bags.
In the tin? OK.
I fill the tin of tea bags with normal tea bags, but with one Earl Grey tea bag in the mix, give it a little bit of a...
This is David's version of an adrenaline sport.
It's not for the flavour.
Oh.
It's for the surprise element.
That's it?
Yeah,
it's as dull as it sounds. That's it.
What you've got to remember is I'm quite an uninteresting person, and I've been doing this programme since 2006. So, you know, this is all we've got now.
Now, the question is when you sip it and it's Earl Grey, is it a pleasant surprise or, damn? Because you obviously don't like it, otherwise you'd be drinking it all.
Absolutely. Do you know what I think overall, and I'm sorry to make this even more boring than it is already, but overall...
Is it possible?
Yeah. Overall, it is a neutral experience, because I don't like the Earl Grey tea as much, and yet the surprise element brings it up to the same level as a normal cup of tea.
80 bags, box of Earl Grey. You could probably work it out, Lee. Is that 80 weeks that you'll have to have that box of Earl Grey?
How many cups of tea are you drinking a day?
Oh, I mean, loads. 5 to 8.
So 5 to 8. So he's getting through a box of tea bags every 10 days.
Every 10 days.
Takes a long time to get through a box of Earl Grey, although sometimes...
The Earl Grey, hang on, the Earl Grey's almost 3 years old. By the time you've got to the last Earl Grey. And at no point, when you put that... When you get after...
You're interested now, aren't you? The sheer age of it.
I'm
3
interested
years
because...
old, David.
Because at the end, when you put your last Earl Grey in, and that box is empty, where most normal people would then go, that's probably enough.
Yeah.
You'll go, I think I'll go again. A new 3-year cycle. It's a 3-year commitment each time.
The thing you have to remember, sometimes people come round to the house, and if you could believe that, you'll believe anything.
Yeah. But they don't ever leave.
And ask for Earl Grey.
Yeah,
then I'm just willing to take one from the Earl Grey box.
But what if you've run out and it was your final one in the thing? You're like, oh my God! It's disaster.
It's never happened. But obviously, what a frantic and exciting scene.
You say you're welcome to an Earl Grey, but you may have to have 80...
You find it!
You must have 80 cups of tea to find it. No, you're not going to! They're tied to the radiator in the cellar. Let us go!
OK, time to decide. Lee, what are you going to say?
I believe David is capable of doing this. He needs that little thrill.
You know I need excitement in my life.
You need excitement, but this is a lot of...
It's not exciting.
So you're saying it's a lie. David?
It was, in fact, a lie.
Possession.
Ah, right. First of all, take the item out and pop it on the desk. Then read out the card.
This is my woolly hat. I can't wear it because whenever my ears get warm, I fall asleep.
Right. David's team.
What? How long does it take you to fall asleep when your ears get warm?
Well, I'd say 10 minutes.
The problem you've done there now, Josh, is you've made it possible to demonstrate. You might want to change that to 4.5 days.
OK, do you want me to put the hat on for 10 minutes?
Yes.
OK.
And have you had many embarrassing situations with this as a
Well, I'm
problem?
currently wearing it on primetime TV.
Yeah. Have you, like, snoozed off?
I have, yeah.
Awkward
I've snoozed off probably 3 times.
Will you describe the 3 times in reverse order of hilariousness?
OK, so all 3 times have been on trains. And in reverse order of hilariousness, didn't miss my stop, didn't miss my stop, missed my stop.
You've got the order right there.
Gemma's got one that only covers one ear, so are you sleepy on the left-hand side?
I am, yeah. Don't judge me, I just...
Can I... genuinely, my ears are warming up and I'm feeling... Can I take it off?
You're feeling a bit drowsy?
Presumably, sometimes you don't want to fall asleep, but wouldn't it also be quite useful if it's true? Because...
I have done that, Rob.
To get off, stick it on.
I can honestly tell you, Rob, that this has never helped me get off.
I don't think anyone would get off if you wear that.
Oh, so soon in the show, Sophie.
There's 7 billion people on this planet. Some of them are into anything.
Oh, that's reassuring. Thank you very much, David.
Exactly, absolutely. But that's, you know...
There's some weirdo out there that would be into me in a hat.
Do you know what, David? Since you got married, you've been very cocky.
So, why were you wearing it on the train anyway? They're not perfectly run, our railways, but I don't usually find that the temperature is arctic in a railway carriage.
I'll be honest with you, David.
Don't insult me with that phrase, because we know the format is you may not be being honest, and I won't hold that against you. It's a parlour game. You know. Okay. You're not denying an affair. You know.
You're not denying it?
Josh Widdicombe fails to deny affair.
This sounds crass, but I wore it on the train because I didn't want people to recognise me.
So you thought the way of detracting attention is to put on an enormous bobble hat.
What are you thinking, Gemma?
I don't think this is true. I think it's a lie.
Yeah, it's got to be a lie. Who falls asleep by putting a hat on?
I think it might be true.
Oh.
But I'm not going to overrule my team. Because I'm just going to...
You don't have the strength of character for that.
I don't know.
OK, so they're saying it's a lie. Josh Widdicombe, truth or lie?
David, it's true.
Oh! Wow.
Yes, it's true. Josh does fall asleep if his ears get warm.
I taught my kids the alphabet by singing it to the EastEnders theme tune.
Well, they've got to hear it.
Jason's panicking now because he knows the EastEnders theme tune, but he doesn't know the alphabet. We're not going to ask you to do it just yet because we can't win. If he does it badly, he might be bluffing. If he does it well...
We could all try and do it together.
Well, I mean, I've taught my children. I can teach you.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's just one note, one letter. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Lovely.
No. Not lovely. You're clapping, but that's not got a definite end.
It does,
you stopped mid.
And that's how you learn the alphabet.
Yes. He didn't do that,
You're
did he?
a better parent than I am, no. I might incorporate that. I've got a 3-year-old who's going through it at the moment,
Okay.
so...
Right.
although we're doing it with Corrie. Trying to mix it up a little bit.
You could do Corrie for counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6...
Are there any other things you've put to theme tunes?
Yeah, we do the periodic table elements to Doctor Who.
Is EastEnders on in South Africa?
No.
Just get the box set and catch up.
And it was a letter to a note. Because you could have gone A, B, C, D, F, G...
Yeah, but I wanted to make it...
I haven't finished. H, I, J, K... L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W,
just stick another song on the end.
That's another way. Sophie, I don't want to put you in this invidious position, but as a pop star, if you had to choose between one or the other, which would you go for?
I did really enjoy
Thanks
yours,
very
yeah.
much.
Fair enough. No, fair enough. Fair
All
enough.
right. Is it true?
I don't know, I was just thinking about you saying, who would you choose, me or Jason? I thought, I can't help thinking she'd be swiping left for both. I can't help thinking she'd be swiping right for both. I don't know which way around it is, but you can use that in the edit.
I think it's not true.
Sophie?
I'm going to say it's a lie.
Yeah. I think it's a lie.
Jason, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Jason didn't teach his kids the alphabet using the EastEnders theme.
As a child, my mum got so fed up with me wandering off, she made me wear a bell around my neck whenever we went shopping.
Lee's team.
Was she a cow?
I'm not sure that Miles's mother being a cow would explain it, because I don't think it's the cow's own policy to wear the bells.
So, first of all, how bad were you at wandering? Was this a regular thing?
I wouldn't stay still. Any sort of open space I would see as a thing to run towards rather than...
So
you know,
what
I was-
shopping centres were you going to that was such wide spaces to run in?
I suppose Brent Cross Shopping Centre would have been our regular haunt. But
OK.
No.
What age was this?
I would have been about probably 4 to the age of 7.
And when you were in infant school, every time you went out to the playground, did everyone think it was playtime over and straight back in again?
It was only done on family outings.
Only done on shopping days. OK. And is it a traditional bell with the little thing inside that clanks
what does it
against
look
the...
like?
Like a sort of cat's bell, essentially.
But hang on, there's one massive problem here. A cat is on all fours and the bell dangles. The bell is going to be touching your body and it won't dangle. Discuss.
Well, she attached it to a part of me that dangled.
What was the furthest you ever got? What were you searching for?
I hope it wasn't sparrows, because you'd never get them.
So in Brent Cross terms, I once got from John Lewis to Phoenix.
That's very nice. Miles, could I ask you to tell me how big the bell was, but accurately?
I suppose 3/4 of the size of a ping pong ball.
Hang on.
And was it a sphere or bell-shaped?
Any bell, by definition, is bell-shaped.
What do you think, Sarah?
It sounds a bit draconian. You know, a bell round your child's neck.
Yeah, I think it would be a terrible failing of parenting, so not for me.
It's just not a system that works. If
No.
you've drifted into a Morris dance area, then you're going to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
That's what you'd have in the horror film version of your life,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you
Yes.
run off and then your mother's desperately looking for you, and then suddenly she sees a load of Morris dancers, and it totally confuses
Lots
the
of
system.
close-ups
It'd be
of grinning Morris
horrifying
dancers.
moment. Oh, the Morris dancers, the Morris dancers! I can't hear Miles' little tinkling bell.
Well, you could be describing any Saturday of my childhood.
So what are you going to say, Lee?
We're not having it.
They're not having
We're
it.
not having
They're
this.
saying it's a lie. Miles, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
That was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Miles' mum didn't make him wear a bell around his neck.
I recently went to extreme lengths to deliver a sample to the vets.
David's team.
A sample of what?
A sample of poo.
Your own or an animal's?
I am not an animal. I would have gone to the doctor.
Though in many ways, these days, it's easier to see the vet than it is to see the doctor. So, in an emergency, I would go to the vet. And also, in my experience, vets tend to like their patients, which doctors don't always.
Good tip. I know for next time.
So, what animal?
My dog.
Oh, why do you have to send
The dog wasn't
poo?
very well.
Why didn't you take the dog to the vet? Did you phone the vet? Why did the vet ask for a sample?
Well, first of all, pick a question, because you've asked 3 there. Which
Why did you take a sample and not the dog?
Because they needed to send the poo away for testing, and that's easier if it is outside of the dog.
But what were the extreme measures that you had to take?
So because it was during lockdown, we couldn't go in for an appointment. So
Yeah.
we had to sort of drop off the sample.
Right.
So they suggested I use a Tupperware from home.
Oh, that's quite a large item to fill.
It was 3 days I needed to collect.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So where are you storing it in the meantime?
In the fridge.
Oh.
You know how hard it is to find one that has a lid that matches perfectly?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So the only one that we had writing on from a previous occupant of the tub, and it said, chicken casserole for Sarah.
Oh!
Because it was lockdown and we didn't want to go when there were people around, instead we took it through the night, and we didn't realise that there would be a big fence and a locked gate. So we had to throw it over a fence.
Unfortunately, it landed in the next door's garden and her name was Sarah. Now, this led to an unfortunate mix-up.
Well, what are you thinking? You think it's preposterous, I can tell.
Totally preposterous, from start to finish. And I love this person. I'm sorry to think that she's...
Sorry to think that she could behave like this.
Yeah, so I know she didn't.
OK.
So I know she didn't.
Lou?
I don't like to look at lovely Sarah Millican in the face and say liar, but I'm going to.
I think once somebody claims to store poo in the fridge, you can say anything to them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
OK, I think we think it's a lie. We think it's a bit too far-fetched.
You're unanimous on that. So, Sarah, was it true or was it a lie?
It is true.
Oh!
It's true. Sarah did go to extreme lengths to deliver a sample to the vets.
For several months, I had to sleep on the floor because I'd given up my bed for a sunbed.
These team.
When was this, Claudia?
Yes. I think it was in the 90s.
Why did you give it up as opposed to just getting a sunbed?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because...
Have a little read of it again if you need to.
No, I'm absolutely fine. Who needs a bed? I'll sleep on the floor. More important to be orange.
Was it...
Sounds like someone speed dating with an Oompa Loompa.
There you go.
Right, talk us through the process of how you got a sunbed.
Yeah, I didn't purchase one. I borrowed one for a bit, for some money.
For what?
She's trying to say she rented one, I think.
That's what happened. I rented
So you rented a sunbed?
I rented. Hello, you want a sunbed? I'll give you some money.
Yeah.
And then for a couple of months, for several months.
How much was a sunbed in the 1990s?
Well, it was about £40 a month.
40 quid a month to rent a sunbed.
And they were called sunbeds for rental.
Wow, what a great name.
Yeah.
.com?
In the
1990s?
No, it wasn't .com. Just hello, VHS, other things, toasties, and we put sunbeds. And
Hello,
hot biscuits.
sunbeds, toasties and
That's what it was.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Where are you living? Have you set out into the world as a young
I've set
Claudia?
out. I'm at university.
Oh.
Where were you at university?
Cambridge.
No.
No.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
What did you study?
History of art.
We could test her on that. Go on, Ed.
When was the first painting?
So where was this room? Was it in a campus block?
No, it was in... I was in a road.
Just a room in a road? Was it surrounded at all by a house?
It was in a house.
Did you sleep on the floor next to the sunbed?
Curled up like a mushroom. That's how I sleep.
Well, you're probably under the lamp too long.
Did you ever bring anyone back after a night out?
I had quite an unsuccessful love life at university.
Were they just men leaving more tanned than when they came in?
Kate, what do you think?
Well, it's tricky, isn't it? Because the way she's stumbling and hesitating could be a complete, you know, red herring. Orange herring. I'm going to go lie.
The thing is, Claudia's been on the show many times before, and sometimes she tells the truth, sometimes she lies, but what I've learnt about her is she doesn't know what's going on in her own life.
Have you got one now at home?
No, because I found a new way.
What's the new way?
Being spray painted. Once a week, twice a week during Strictly.
I had a spray tan once.
You had a spray tan?
Yeah, when we did the trip to Greece, they wanted us to look a little bit tan before we went. So a girl came round to my house, set up what looked like a crime scene tent in the,
there you go.
in the living room, put paper pants on me, and went...
She actually put them on you? dear. Come on, lift your leg up.
Is she telling the truth or telling a lie?
I think we go true.
You think it's a lie, don't you?
I think it's a lie.
I think it is true.
You're going to say true? OK. Claudia, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It is true.
Yes, it's true. Claudia really did sleep on the floor to make space for a sunbed.
I once did a parachute jump just because I fancied the instructor.
David's team.
When was this?
It was in the 70s.
So how did you meet this instructor that you fancied?
Oh, because a family member was a skydiver. And in the process of watching him skydive, I met the instructor and felt an immediate magnetic attraction.
So this...
I mean, I thought you were going to say I fell for him.
I did, but I'm a poet, you know, so I like to embellish.
Oh, that's true. I just like to go for little puns.
Oh, I fell for him.
I fell for him.
Oh, see, I'm just sorry, dear. Sorry, I'm not used to you see.
Describe him to us then. What was it about this man that was so attractive?
He wore a lot of straps.
Oh, hello. All right. And what is it about a man in straps that you like?
Well, I don't know. There's something sort of dark about straps. I don't know. You know, he had these straps and the sort of around the groins and everything, and he did it.
Whoa. I wasn't expecting this, Pam. I'll be very honest.
Do you recall his name, Pam?
Yeah, Doug. Doug. This is the Vale of the White Horse accent, of which I'm exceedingly proud.
So how did you take it a step further
Well,
with him?
I volunteered to learn how to parachute jump.
Yeah. And did you have to have straps as well?
Oh, indeed, I did.
Are you strapped to Doug as well? Because I've done this.
No.
And you're on the front. Well, I was, like a little baby in a papoose.
Oh, no, this was...
No, Lee, it was lovely. I've never felt so safe.
Which way were you facing?
Oh, facing away.
All right.
So...
Listen, this is for wimps. This is for wimps. This I did alone.
You weren't strapped to Doug?
No, I was not strapped to Doug.
I would have thought that would have been the whole point.
I know, but I didn't find out until he hit me on the shoulder and said, go.
The old romantic. So what's the time scale of this? There's the day you go with a family member who's a skydiver. What was your plan that day? That you were just going to go up in the aeroplane that your family member was going to jump out of?
I wasn't going to go up in the airplane. I was just going to go and watch. And then I noticed the instructor reclining in the hangar, looking steamy.
Did you talk to him much?
Yeah, I did. I said, how do you get into this line of business?
Nice.
Yeah, with the classic head wobble of seduction.
Did you have lessons with Doug?
Yeah.
Oh, tell us about those. Was he a West Country person?
No,
Where
it
was he
wasn't.
from?
I don't know where it came from.
Well, what was his voice?
Oh, it was received English.
It was one of these. Now, you listen to me, Ayres.
That's right. He said, oh,
Let me just tighten this strap. Hang on, let me get this one. That's better. Let's stop the blood. Now.
He didn't say anything lascivious like that. He was a perfect gentleman with beautiful received English, and he said, I think you're going to enjoy this.
Well, your heart was a flutter at that, wasn't it, eh? All right, so what are we thinking? Richard, what do you think of this?
It sounds reasonable to me.
At first, I didn't believe it, but you were going, look, this is just a thing that happened. Like, you just wanted to get your story out.
So what's it going to be, David?
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in your mind.
No doubt in my mind. I can picture it entirely.
All right, they're saying it's true. So, Pam, was it true or was it a lie?
My story was true.
Yes, it's true. Pam did a parachute jump just because she fancied the instructor.
As a child, I once secretly cashed my mum's family allowance and used the money to buy a cat.
David's team.
So, how did you perpetrate this fraud?
Lot of strong allegations straight away. It's not a fraud.
Is it not a fraud?
I didn't say I was my mum.
Right.
My mum, single mother at work, so quite often couldn't get to the post office during opening hours, so my job was to get the family allowance. I'm the eldest.
Right. And how old were you?
11.
I see. So you were permitted to collect the money.
Yes,
what
yes.
you weren't then authorised to do by your mother is to spend it on a cat.
Not explicitly.
So it's not fraud, it's theft.
So what happened then, Sarah? Talk us through it.
So I went to the post office.
Yes.
Got the family allowance.
Yes.
Quite near the post office, there was lots of different shops. A high street,
yes,
if you will. Oddly, on the way to go to the post office, I had popped into the pet shop and there were 2 little kittens and they were kind of all snuggled and sleepy. Oh, very sweet, very sweet. So I went to the post office, got the money, it was about £30, and then on the way back, one of the cats had been sold and the other one was there, very lonely.
Is this the story you told your mum, or is this the truth?
Well, this is... We don't find that out till the end of the round.
I'm getting old, I keep forgetting the format.
He was meowing, he was sad, and I realised that I now was holding enough money to buy him, and so I did.
How did you tell your mum?
I told my mum that I'd gone to the post office as instructed, picked up the family allowance. But then when I had been walking home, it had been very windy, the money had flown away. When I was looking for the money, in the grass, I found this kitten.
Did she fall for that?
No.
Oh. I was going to say, if she did, can we get her on that team?
So what happened? Were you allowed to keep the cat?
Well, for a very, very short amount of time, the cat was in our house, but my mum was looking for somewhere else, basically to give him away to a home where he would be properly cared for, and then she told me that he had blown away.
You were only 11 and she went, oh, where's the cat? He blew away.
11 is not too young to learn the bitter lesson of how miserable life is.
Can I just say this has completely ruined my card in a minute, where I will be reading out that I, in the 1990s, bought a cat off a woman in a pub for 15 quid.
What are you thinking, Nicola? Does this story strike you as true?
I think there's a lot of detail in it.
A lot of detail, yes.
Yeah. You can picture the high street, the pet shop, the post office.
Yes, you've got a wonderful imagination, haven't you? You're very gifted in that way, aren't you?
Well, I mean, we're talking about cats here.
Yeah, there are no cats.
No, and yet we vaguely know what we're banging on about.
You brought cats to life as vividly as Andrew Lloyd Webber did all those years ago.
I never saw the live show, I just saw the clip from the film.
I auditioned for that film and didn't get it. And you know who played the part I went up for?
Who?
Judi Dench.
How dare you! Ray Winston. Ray Winston got the part. Dan, what are you thinking?
I feel like I want to believe Sarah on this one. I feel there's an element of truth there.
Well, I think the situation is we just completely believe this. Now, if it's a lie, there's something diabolical that Sarah has done, because we've just totally accepted it.
All right. And can I just say, I'm enjoying the length of your shirt sleeves tonight.
Oh, they're getting longer and longer.
You look like Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen. Sarah, they're saying it's true. Was it true, or were you telling a lie? Yes, it's true. Sarah really did use her mum's family allowance to buy a cat.
For the past 6 months, I've been using David Mitchell to get me off to sleep each night.
Oh. No further questions, true. OK. What medium are you listening to David through?
I have found a stash of podcasts of The Unbelievable Truth.
Oh, the radio show. For those that don't know, could you describe The Unbelievable Truth?
There's 4 panellists, and they each deliver a lecture, and the other panellists have to... Oh, you see, I'm going off now. Have to find the truth.
Look, this is not going to get picked up by American TV with this bit.
What is it about David's nasal drone that sends you on? What's the quality in there that appeals to you?
It's entertaining and it's soothing. It's like a sort of father telling me a bedtime story.
And how do you listen to him? What? Have you got headphones? And
No, I just have my phone very close to my
it's
pillow.
the speaker on the phone?
Yeah.
But what about your husband?
He takes his deaf aids out. He turns them off at night. You can't hear anything.
He has his own way of listening to David.
There is a lovely rhythmical quality to David's spoken word.
It's very relaxing and it's not in the slightest bit irritating.
No, that's right. That's right.
It's
not in the slightest bit irritating. I'm going to quote you on that because it's not everyone's view.
series across the box.
He's not irritating, he's tedious.
It's not tedious. No, because if it was tedious, I'd go off on my own train of thought, which would be stimulating and would wake me up.
See.
But, you know, a lecture on medieval castles, phew.
How do you get off at night, Alan?
Not very frequently.
How do you visit the land of Nod?
I spray my pillow.
Steady!
Sleep mist. After which my wife coughs for a bit and I'm asleep.
All right, so what are we thinking now, Leisha? Does this strike you as true?
Not really. I feel like there's so many other things you can listen to that would put you to sleep.
All right, Alan?
Philip is clearly a fan. True, for me.
All right.
I think it might be true because he has got a voice that can, you know...
Comforting.
That's not the word I was looking
What are you going to say?
I think it's true.
You're going to say it's true? OK, Philippa. Truth or lie?
It is.
It's true. Philippa does fall asleep to David every night.
Excited.
I wish everyone was as excited about being on the show as Rosie.
Last month, I got a tattoo of Lee Mack. Because I want to mention it on the show.
Where is the tattoo?
It's just at my shoulder.
Was it your first tattoo?
No, it's my second.
What's the first one?
She's got Rob and David on each boot.
So when you went into the tattoo parlour and said, please, can I have a tattoo of Lee Mack? What was the reaction from the tattooist?
She just laughed.
Did she know who Lee was?
Yeah.
Sorry, Victoria, did you just ask that?
But why Lee? I mean, look at David.
Exactly.
Can I ask how much it cost?
300 quid.
300 quid? Is that all?
Yeah.
300 quid for my face? I'd have happily put some ink on my face and run into your back for that price.
Are you going to turn it into something else?
No,
later?
she's happy with Lee Mack, thank you very much.
No.
Oh, so you are keeping the Lee Mack tattoo?
Yeah.
You're not lasering it off?
Lee, I really like you.
Well, listen, it's very nice of you to say, but you did open up by saying I only did it because I had something to say on the show. But thank you, that's nice. I like you, but I'm not committing it to ink. I haven't got any tattoos on my body. David, from the neck down, is covered in them.
Yeah. Mainly former Prime Ministers, though.
So what are you thinking, Victoria?
I don't think she'd want a tattoo of Lee Mack. I don't think anyone... I mean... I don't think anyone would go that far.
I disagree. The bit I know about Rosie, I'm not saying she would do me, but I can imagine her just doing it for a laugh. Me, unusual choice. I
think that's
admit.
it. That's the bottom line, isn't it? I've got one of just literally a raw potato that I don't think is as weird as having one of you. In fact, I was offered you in the tattoo shop and I said, no, I'll have a potato.
What do we think, truth or lie?
Obviously, I want it to be true.
Can't believe your ego is letting you even think about this for a second.
You know, I'm a good-looking lad and... I don't know.
Lee, it's not true, mate.
I think it might be. OK, it's obviously a lie, but I wish it was true. But do you know what, Rosie? Thanks for even thinking of it.
You're going to say it's a lie?
Yeah.
OK, Rosie, Was it a lie or was it in fact true?
Oh my God.
It is actually.
It's going to be true.
Yes, thank goodness it's a lie. Rosie didn't get a tattoo of Lima.
It's not a bad idea, though.
Oh, it's the worst idea in the world. Why would I do that?
I am sat here. Well, do you know what, Rosie? Do you know what I do when I leave this studio? I get your face removed from my back.
If I don't want my husband to know I've been shopping, I hide what I've bought in the washing machine, as there's no chance he'll ever look in there.
David's team.
What sort of thing would you hide?
Shopping.
OK, that's as specific as you need to be. I think we're ready to make a guess.
Clothes. Stuff that looks OK in the washing machine.
I was imagining it might be like crisps and biscuits. That sort of
But why would I hide that?
What kind of person hides food from their partner?
David, what sort of person does that?
Victoria might find out I bought the Maltesers. Yes. I put them in the washing machine.
I'll just put this Toblerone behind the television.
Well, firstly, I hate Toblerone.
Thank God you said Toblerone and not my wife.
And secondly, the whole idea of hiding shopping around the house did not come from me. It came either from Sindhu or from a card that she has been forced to read out under a contract. And that's what we're trying to find out. I don't hide food.
Never before has a man sounded so much like he hides food.
I don't hide food! I do not hide food!
I've never hidden food.
How loudly do I have to say that I don't hide food to make you believe that I don't hide food? I've got things under control and I'm not weird about them.
Wow.
And how much do you go shopping on average per week, would you say?
Ooh, depends on the year. Depends...
On the year?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
1987 was a bad year. I was out every day.
Every time I had a kid, that year I would just shop like crazy because I wanted to, A, be away from the kid, and B, you know, things happen in your mind. You think if I maybe have this dress or that pair of jeans, I'll not feel like I'm humongous, which you are after you've had a baby, you know what I mean?
Can I just check, have you seen this show before?
Yes.
It is not the Jeremy Kyle show.
No.
So when was the last time you put your shopping in the washing machine?
So I would say August 2019 would probably have been the last time, because after that I was away.
Do you remember what you hid in the washing machine then?
Yes, I do.
One of the kids.
You don't have to tell them. They just say, do you remember one? Just say, yeah.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah.
But what was it?
Now you have to tell them.
It was an Isabel Marant dress, which was really outrageously priced.
What did your husband do when he finds out that you've been shopping? Why do you need to hide it in the first place?
Because, you know, there are times when you don't need to go out and spend that much money on a dress. And as an adult, you should know that.
What sort of a man is your husband? Because I'm picturing an ogre.
No, but I mean, this was a bit excessive, really.
But how would he express his displeasure?
Rob, keep it light.
What are you thinking? AJ, first of all, what do you think?
I think it's a fantastic hiding space. Therefore, I think she's telling the truth.
All right.
I live by myself, and I still hide clothes for myself.
You hide clothes from yourself?
Yeah.
How do you hide them from yours? Because, I mean, in a sense, I hide clothes from myself in that I put them in a wardrobe.
Because of the guilt of spending so much money on them, you mean?
Yeah, because it is like, oh, my gosh, like,
yes,
you
right?
can't justify that expenditure
Thank you.
to anybody, not even to yourself.
All right.
I'm like that with heroin.
All right, it's time to take a guess. David, what are you going to say?
Maybe she's lying, actually, because actually...
It's definitely a possibility.
You just put it in your wardrobe, wouldn't you?
I think you just put it in the place.
You just put it in your wardrobe.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be looking
I think
at
it's
your
a lie.
wardrobe.
You think it's a lie?
Lie.
It's a lie. I definitely think it's a lie.
Yeah. They're saying it's a lie. Sindhu, truth or lie?
It's a lie.
Yeah!
It's a lie. Sindhu doesn't hide her shopping in the washing machine.
I once failed an acting exam after my plan to impress the teacher backfired.
Right, Lee's team.
Okay.
Right, what age was this?
18.
So you're doing your A-level for drama?
Theatre studies.
Theatre studies. And what was your plan?
The plan was I needed to cry during a monologue and I was doing a Dublin accent.
Oh, give us a little blast. Oh, no, because your parents are Irish.
They're not from Dublin.
I've met her family. I met her sister. I introduced her to my wife, Tara, and I said, this is Tara.
Who's very beautiful. Ridiculously beautiful.
Yes, it doesn't seem right, does it?
I'll tell you how unright it seems. She went, oh, did you meet after he was, like, sort of a well-known comedian? And she went, no, before, which is true. We met before I ever did comedy. And she went, oh, did he save your life or something? That was unbelievable. I didn't know in 5 minutes. OK, so this was a sad monologue.
Sad monologue, and a woman, she's leaving a pram at the airport, and I needed to cry, and I needed the grade for my uni application. I needed to pass theatre studies. My plan was to use an onion to make myself cry so that I really, you know, like Oscar bait, get the exam.
Well,
really...
you weren't intended to do the monologue and then start cutting.
No, I had onion in my pocket with, like, an entry area so I could stick my hands in. So I touched my eyes.
Without him seeing that you'd put your hand... just sort of...
I was doing my acting. I was like, oh, all of a sudden, life's a mad circus, and I was just touching my eyes.
That was good accent.
That was the accent, was it?
That was the accent,
Very good.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
And so I do that, and then I touch my eyes, and then I thought, oh, actually, it's quite a bit longer to go on this bit. And obviously... So I'm not meant to be at the tears bit yet, and then obviously my eye starts going, and I'm just... like, trying to keep it together, because I'm not meant to be crying yet. And then I have to get the pram to bring it off the stage. But I can't see. And I finished the monologue like that. And I have to just walk off.
Did he find out, the teacher?
Oh, yeah, she came up to me straight up and she went, onion?
What are you thinking then, Maya?
I don't know, I think dedication to the cause, but onions are that shape, aren't they? So you'd see a little bulge in whatever jacket and stuff that you had on.
I don't think she would do it. I think someone might have done it, but I don't
You don't think it's true? OK, well, I'm going to say, then, it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. Right, Roisin, truth or lie?
It is... true.
Yes, it's true. Roisin really did use an onion to make herself cry.
Last year, after getting lost on a ramble, I got so thirsty I was forced to drink puddle water, which I purified by filtering through my hiking sock.
David's team.
Right, where were you hiking?
I was hiking in Scotland.
And what time of year?
This will have been just when it was allowed.
OK. Whereabouts in Scotland?
It was in the Highlands.
How long have you been walking?
Since I was about 2.
That day, on this particular recreational walk?
Oh, I've been walking for about 2 hours.
And were you on your own or was anyone with you?
No, I was definitely on my own.
You were walking on your own
I know,
in the Highlands of Scotland?
I wasn't walking on my own when I started the walk.
Oh, they'd given you the slip.
Correct. No, we'd gone our separate ways. They had the water and I'd got lost.
Who are they?
They were my wife and another couple we were hiking with.
Why would they leave you water-free?
They didn't leave me. We did that thing
many reasons. Because his wife spotted an opportunity that may never come her way again. And I admire her for seizing it.
I needed the toilet, so I went off and I went round the corner and just lost my bearings.
Describe the terrain. Yeah.
Rain were like really heavy.
Well, that's no reason to drink puddle water then.
Exactly. Correct. No. The terrain was I would describe as rugged and arid.
You want to go to the loo?
I'm all right, thanks. You know, it's like you're walking. I'm a bit older than my wife. I'm tired. She's a little bit further ahead, talking to her friend's husband, actually. And anyway, I thought, I'm a bit tired, and I said, I'm just going to one set, and I sort of I was literally just stepped behind for a second.
You stepped behind
a tree.
and then became so disorientated.
No.
Okay, yeah.
So I have a wee, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when I heard what I thought was a kookaburra.
In Scotland?
What?
In Scotland.
The emphasis on the word thought.
Right.
I thought I heard a kookaburra, so I walked just a few steps, not many. Picture the scene. I'm walking, I'm looking round like this. There's no bird. I turn back. Wait a minute. Which tree did I wee behind? Was it that one or was it that one? Well, it was easy to tell. It was that one. So I got a bit confused for a sec, and then I went, and then before you know it, game over.
Completely
I'm now
lost.
walking, and I'm panicking, and I should point out that I'm already very dehydrated. I wish I hadn't had that wee. It could have helped somehow. But I had it. I was now running on empty.
And you want a drink?
Yes.
There's no drink to be had.
There's nothing. And I learnt the #1 rule when I watched a film once, which is don't wait until you're thirsty.
So what do? You find a puddle?
I come across a puddle.
But you don't tend to find puddles in
but what I
arid
did
setting.
realise, I was back at the tree. No, I'd come across it. It was in a bit of shade. Maybe it was some condensation that had started to come down. But there was definitely a puddle. I was there, Rob. You weren't.
So how did you go? You said you did it through your sock. Is that
Hiking
right?
sock.
Hiking sock.
Yes.
Sweaty, woolen, gnarled.
Yeah,
No.
but she's good with the kids. That doesn't make sense. She wasn't even with me, so it doesn't make sense.
So you undid...
Sock off.
Took your boots off first, of course.
Of course, so there's only the only way to do it, isn't it? So the boot comes off, the sock comes off, because I remembered the film. If in doubt, drink early and make sure it's purified.
And what was the film?
That was the title of the film.
How dirty?
Well, I mean, it was 18 certificate and there was a bit of...
All right, what are we thinking, Raj?
Rubbish. A whole lot.
This is all made up.
I think you might be dehydrated now.
Oh, yeah, I am.
So, David, I think your team
I think we're going to go lie.
It's a lie. Well, OK. Was this true or was it a lie?
It's a lie.
It was a lie.
I once got the giggles on the one show when I accidentally destroyed a priceless historical artefact.
Please do.
What was the priceless historical artefact?
It was a letter.
Which letter? There's 26 to choose from.
A written letter.
So who was the letter to him from?
To some soldiers from King George.
How did you destroy it?
So I was going through a little phase.
Was it that phase?
It was that phase, but it wasn't that phase.
Right.
It was a phase where I was drinking green tea. So I had a pint of green tea.
A pint?
A pint.
Proper old-school Welsh. Doesn't matter what it is, it has to be in a pint.
Where were you hiding it on the set?
It was rehearsal.
Yeah, but...
So no need to hide.
Whoa. I've seen the one show, and you rehearse that.
I ate it. So basically, the pint of green tea spilt all over the letter. And because obviously letters back in the day were written by, you know, quills and ink, the green tea fell on the letter and all the writing fell off.
And
fell off?
The writing fell off.
Well, it slipped off.
Well, it didn't slip off. It didn't slip off.
Well, it did.
So what happened then?
So the people from the museum who'd brought in the artefacts, the glove wearers, they start basically crying because
They cried?
Yeah, because it's a priceless letter. They were getting angry, and the more angry they got, the funnier I thought it was.
You laughed?
Well, I've got that thing, you know, when things happen, I mean, I find it really funny. You know, when you're not supposed to laugh? I think there's a name for it. It's called something.
Yes, insensitivity. All right. What do we think?
I think it's an out-and-out lie, and I don't think you'd laugh. And if letters fell off a page, I think you were just fantasising over Harry Potter.
Anna, what about you?
I'm going to say it's a lie.
I think it's true, because I think she screams incompetence. I'll go with my team and say it's a lie.
OK, so, Alex, they've said it's a lie. Was it the truth or was it a lie?
It's in fact
true. Yes, it's true. Alex did destroy a priceless historical artefact.
My husband and I have agreed that the hour between 7 and 8 p.m. is the only time we're allowed to gripe about our various aches and pains. We call this hour the moan zone.
David's team.
Between 7 and 8 p.m.
Yes.
Is that the time you find the aches and pains are most noticeable?
No, it's because it's when the one shows on.
And what specific aches and pains, Joe? Because I will say you've been rather sprightly this evening.
Don't be patronising, Rob.
You did say that like you were playing Monopoly with your grandmother.
So, what are the aches and pains, Joe?
Well, I've got a bad knee.
I've got a bad knee, actually, as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's the cause of your bad knee?
I don't... life, you know.
Oh, life, OK.
The inferior design technique of the creator, should there be one. Anyway, this isn't about me.
Joe, what happens if you moan outside of those hours? Like, do you have, like, a moan jar where you...
No, the other one can say anything they like to the other one to shut them up.
Oh.
Including the C word. Coco.
In the hour, is it you first, 7 till 7:30, your aches and pains, and then here's a 7:30 to 8, or do you alternate? I'll see your knee, I raise you a coccyx.
This is what David's like when he's chatting up women.
Well, it's not that formal, really.
Is this ringing any bells with you, Lee? I mean, in your household?
I would like to get to that age where you can do the chair where you press the button and it helps you up. Oh, that's nice. Then, you know what I mean?
I tell you what, this is going to steal all those younger viewers back from Netflix, isn't it?
How old are you, Bobby?
I'm a prime number. One more than a square number, but it's a prime number.
Oh, in that case, you are... Wait, I've got this. You are 36.
Yes.
Oh, you are a prime number?
I am a prime number, yeah.
37.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean...
10 points Gryffindor.
Thank you.
Joe can't believe that Lee has got the applause when she said 37 6 times. 37.
We get clever students, we know they've got it correct. Like, in Parents' Evening, I would say Joe's doing really well, but sometimes students like Lee, we've got to encourage them in the lesson.
Oh, I like you, Bobby. All right, so what do we think? Joe, what are you thinking about this?
Well, it sounds true to me. I mean, I think it's a bit weird that we wouldn't believe other people.
Yeah. Right, we may be having a bit of a problem here this evening.
OK.
Sam, what about you?
I quite like it. It's very constructive. I think it could be true.
I think we're going to go with true.
You're saying true. OK, Joe, was it true or was it a lie?
It is a lie.
It's a lie. Joe doesn't have a moan zone with her husband.
I always read the last line of a book first.
David?
Why do you do that, Lee?
I'm Chinese. It's something I did when I was very young, and it became just a thing that I started doing. Call it superstition, call it one of my little things that I do that just makes me adorable.
What kind of books is it you're reading, Lee? What kind of genre?
I bought a dictionary recently, and I went straight to the final word of the dictionary.
Which is?
Zyziva.
Nice. What does it mean?
It's a type of American weevil. But the last book that I actually properly read is a book called I Want to Be Yours by Im.
And what was the last line?
The last line of that book is... If you've got any complaints, mail them to last Tuesday when I curd.
When I might have cared.
When I might have curd.
Yeah.
Why the Australian accent, just out of interest?
Answering, John, why the Australian accent?
Thanks for getting it, Lee.
Well, it might not be true.
What's the worst last line that you've read?
I think it was... So that is my story, and I hope you enjoyed it. My name's Rob Brydon. Good night.
I'm shocked that you read books. So what are you thinking?
I think you're telling the truth, Lee.
Lee does seem a little bit off like that, doesn't he?
What?
He does.
We think Lee might be telling the truth. We think maybe he reads the last line of a book before the rest of it.
Lee, truth or lie?
It is, in fact, true.
Yes.
Yes, it's true. Lee does always read the last line of a book first.
Before every World Championship final, I used to give a motivational team talk to my snooker cue, or as I called him, Sir Potts-a-lot.
David's team.
That's true. I just hope it's true.
Could you give us a flavour of the motivational talk you'd give Sir Potts-a-lot?
I used to put him in the sort of the corner of the dressing room.
Stephen, I don't want to interrupt your flow, but if you are going to...
Oh, God, he's not looking for drugs again, is he?
This, and it's not just any cue, this is a cue signed by one of the greatest snooker players of all time, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, why don't you recreate the motivational talk?
You're in the dressing room, ready to go out, you've done your practice, and it's just, come on, it's me and you today. You and I, get to the table, we're just going to pot every ball, we're going to clear up and win the frame. Come on, Sir Potts-a-lot.
I feel motivated.
Stephen, I'm buying into this. But if you were playing and it wasn't going that well and you came in for the break, would you give it a stern talking to?
I would sometimes come in and say, what are you doing? You know, because it's not, because obviously it's nothing to do with me.
It'd be great if the cue went, what am I doing? What are you doing?
When did you first acquire Sir Potts-a-lot?
14.
You were 14 years old?
Yep, and it got actually broken later on in my career. I'd come back from Thailand.
Yes.
We couldn't take the cues on board after 9/11.
Yes.
So we had to put them in the luggage.
That's the problem with 9/11. The cues got a lot worse, didn't they?
Very good.
Chris, are you a snooker fan? You seem to know the lingo.
I haven't always been blind, so I used to watch it and I played it as well until my eyesight got worse. So I had to reduce myself down to a pool table and then, you know, and then drafts. I do believe it's true because I think it's the kind of thing that successful sportsmen do. They have these little quirks and it's what makes them amazing. And Stephen was amazing.
Thank you.
Now, Laura.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think it's true because when you speak about Sir Potts-a-lot, your eyes light up and you're so enthusiastic and excited. So for that alone, I just feel like no one else could get that excited about a stick. So I think it's true because of that. Well...
I must admit, I'm pretty lost without my stick. I'll give it a talking to now. We need to get to the bank today. Are you feeling up to your game?
Have you given your stick a name, though?
Sir Finds-a-lot.
David, what about you?
When did you name your cue, Sir Potts-a-lot?
It was a name, actually, my granny gave it to, so...
I have to say, if this is a lie, I'm going to totally re-evaluate you as a human being. I can believe that firstly, in high-pressure sporting situations, there's going to be a certain amount of superstition. You want to do the same thing again and again and again. That's why I never wear trousers for this show. In a way, there's a clash, isn't there, between the triviality of Sir Potts-a-lot and the seriousness of the pep talk, and yet the story about the grandmother giving the name. Oh, yes, that makes sense of it, doesn't it? Yes. Of course. There will be something lovable in that very triviality because of the family link. So it's either true or it is a diabolical lie.
David's been under a lot of pressure recently.
I'm going to take a risk on true. If only one more time, I'm going to believe.
You're going to dare to dream.
Yeah.
All right. Stephen Hendry, were you telling us the truth about Sir Potts-a-lot or were you telling us a lie?
It was a diabolical lie.
There it goes. There it goes, the last glimmer of faith in humanity. Flushed down the toilet.
Yes, it's a lie. Stephen didn't give motivational team talks to his snooker cue.
After an incident in a hotel room, the crew of Celebs Go Fishing wrongly believed I was having a breakdown.
David's team.
I mean, it might be the truest thing I've ever heard, Les. Who were you on with, Les?
There was, let me see, Ian Botham, Fern Britton, Linford Christie, and lovely Shane Lynch from Boyzone.
So you're doing this fishing show, what happens?
And one day I had to go back to my hotel room because the next job I was doing was a TV drama. So I had to go and do a Zoom read-through.
It's a tribute to your versatility, I must say, that on the one hand...
Oh, I thought you were going to say, a man of his age could use Zoom.
It's a tribute.
It's a tribute to... As a man like you can even turn a computer on.
So I went back to the hotel room and I set Zoom...
What sort of hotel, Les? Mid-range, budget?
No, a really lovely individual boutique.
Lovely.
We were in Scotland.
So, and they got it right?
Yeah.
Because some hotels, they get it wrong.
Really, really lovely.
Rob, are you doing an interview for a website?
I'm getting some colour, I'm getting some background.
So the runner took me from the fishing in my waders back
Linford Christie took you... That's above and beyond. It really is.
So the lovely runner took me back to the hotel, and I had said that I would be ready to go back in about an hour.
Right.
So somebody was going to come and pick me up to take me back fishing. So I'm on this video call, and I've done very well because I'm on quite early. And you know that thing when you...
I think you said, I've done very well because I've been working since the late 70s. It's a really top-of-the-range laptop, actually, because I've done very well.
So I'm on this video conference call,
right,
and it gets about halfway in, and I've got my big scene with an actor who's playing a bully, and I think it's the production manager that knocked on the door ready to get me back. But I was right in the zone thinking, no, I'm just going to ignore and I'm going to carry on with this scene. So she heard me go, Sean, you've been like this since we were kids, ever since that time with the lads in the garage. And I'm not putting up for it. You're a bully. You're an absolute bully, and you're nothing but a coward.
Can I just say... I'll tell you what, all I can say is thank God it was a straight offer and not an audition.
So you're shouting and
I'm
screeching,
shouting,
yeah.
And she's thinking, oh, my God, Les Dennis is having a breakdown. And so she goes downstairs to call the producer. I find out later, and she calls and says, I think Les is having a bit of trouble because he's wandering around his room shouting to this bloke called Sean, and there's clearly nobody there. It's just him ranting on his own.
And the producer's going, oh, not again.
What are you thinking, Lou?
I think it's truth.
You don't just think it's true, you think it's truth.
I think it's true. But then again, I'm not really sure.
What do you think?
I believe anything Les says.
Well, that could be a weakness in our position playing this game tonight.
David, you are captain of the team. What are you going to say? They think it's true.
I think it's true as well. And if it's not true, I can only hope that you will be offered a drama like that if you haven't already been, because that was a great audition for it. So.
Les, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I would like to say that I was telling the truth.
Oh.
Yes, it's true. The crew of Celebs Go Fishing did believe Les was having a breakdown.